Hello, Supercoaches. The teams are in for round 26. It is SuperCoach Grand Final week, and I can tell you that the SuperCoach gods have saved an absolute doozy for us. 21 players rested just from the Storm and the Panthers, plus a bunch of other guys like Kikau out as well. Jett Hatton is here. Have you managed to survive?
Yeah, it's absolute carnage, but I've managed to survive most of it as one of the only blokes who hasn't had Nathan Cleary for the last few weeks. Don't have Dylan Edwards, so I don't have that problem. Everyone has Eliesa Katoa, so yeah, it actually hasn't. I've come away okay despite having a lot of injuries.
Yeah, so I've hit 3 of the guys, which is pretty good when you consider that some super coaches will have hit, 7 or 8 people just for Grand Final week. I've only got Katoa, Cleary and Edwards. No Kikau, none of the other injuries that we knew about, like Harry Grant, Doueihi, etc. But it's going to be rough for a lot of super coaches this week, not only in Classic, but in Draft as well, because some of these guys are really big guys who were purchased very early in drafts. So draft Grand Finals, if you've got them on this week, are going to be carnage.
Yep, it's tough. And trades are running low. A lot of them out there don't have trades, so people just going to have to stick with these guys for the rest of the year.
Yep, 2 trades for me, and I've got 20 players, although I don't really want to play probably 3 of those. So I think I'll probably sell Dylan Edwards because fullback is just such a red-hot position. What's your number one takeaway?
For me, it's just all the mass restings at Penrith. I think it's huge. It's going to open up the game from a Supercoach angle for guys like Jacob Carraz as well. So I just think it's a big change.
Yep, so they got Cleary, Edwards, To'o, etc., all rested. Essentially their entire starting team. You got a New South Wales Cup side running out on the weekend, essentially. For me, we were expecting the Panthers stuff because we got word, if you read our early mail, which tens of thousands of super coaches do, you would have known that a lot of people were going to get rested at the Panthers, so it didn't shock me. The thing that shocked me, though, is the restings at the Storm, particularly Eliesa Katoa. He's a huge loss. Particularly if you own Viliame Kikau as well, who has been ruled out with an infection. He's in hospital with an infection.
Yep, I've got both of them guys, so I'm going to have to plug in old Jeremiah Nanai this week as one of the only owners of him. But yeah, it does suck. Katoa's had a long season. He hasn't really had much of a break at all, so it's a well-earned rest for him.
Yeah, I don't think he's been rested at all, and all the other guys have. Of course, they had to play Origin too, but still, he definitely deserves one. So, Grand Final week, I'll just mention a couple of other players who are out as well, which we did know. So, Sam Walker, concussion. Adam Doueihi, facial fractures. He's gone for surgery. Harry Grant, suspension. The Rabbitohs are on the bye. So, as I said, there are super coaches out there who have 7 or 8 players out just from this week and are probably already short on numbers, maybe have a few nuffs in there. Although you're sitting pretty because you're no nuff strategy.
Yeah, anti-nuff, always done it. 25 active players every week, and that's what I've been like all year. And it's finally come back to actually give me some help in Supercoach. I'm obviously a long way out of the hunt, but hopefully I can make some ground, with people maybe running short this week.
Yep. So what is your number one pod for the Grand Final?
For me, it's Cleary.
Yeah.
I know I'm a Sharks man. All that aside, he was averaging, take away his game where he was injury affected, where he was well on his way to score a big score again after he had a try in the first half and everything. He's got an 82 average for the season, just killing it. I think he's scored a try in every single game that he's played this year. But he's had no games below 60. He's just elite. And coming up against this Knights team who have just starting to fall away and concede a lot of points the last few weeks, I think he's going to get a lot of footy. The only tricky thing about him is he's 713k, so you need the trades and you need to have money to be able to facilitate it. Ideally, you want to go there in one trade. You don't want to waste your last 2 trades nuffing someone out and then getting an Euro. So that's the only caveat. But yeah, for me, I think he's a great trade in if you can do it.
I really do like it. Pretty good matchup coming up. For me, the matchup of the week, though, is the Dolphins taking on the Titans. So Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow is the guy for me. You can sell Dylan Edwards, and a lot of people will, to Hamiso. I also like Trey Fuller if he's playing. I'm not sure if he will. But yeah, the Dolphins are the matchup to target this week. Probably not in the final round. It's probably more of a one-week wonder. But still, I like that team. Plus, I also... It's not a pod. When I just looked then, he was the 8th most purchased player. But Tino for Asamoah at 500k, which is so cheap for him, it's about 150, 200k cheaper than what he should be, will be very popular this week. I'd be surprised if he doesn't go from 7th or 8th where he is now up to potentially the most purchased player this week, given that you've got guys like Kikau and Eliesa Katoa out in that back row position.
Yep. If you even like a Dolphins player, could you even consider Jermaine Osako? He's sub 500k nowadays, kicking goals
goal
for them.
kicking.
Yeah, as a try scoring winger, he could be a huge player as well.
SuperCoach Finals is coming, so I'm not talking about your grand final that's coming up this week. I'm talking about our short form game that happens during the actual NRL finals. Numbers are through the roof for this already. The numbers are just way better than what we're expecting. So get involved with that. You can do it in the app right now. We've also got EPL launched, NFL's launched, and season starting in a week and a half or so, and a whole bunch of new games coming as well. Bulldogs v the Panthers, so Kikau out is the big news. It's a skin infection. He's in hospital, apparently. So it is a big blow.
Yeah, it is. Tough for Kikau. I hope he's all right, because obviously that's a bit tricky, but it does suck for those who own him, because it's turned out to be a really nice matchup for Kikau with this team that they're playing like. So it's just, it's going to be great for Karaz, and he's a huge VC option. I'm going to think of VCing him. Yeah,
definitely. So Karaz, a bit of a rough trot there, a little bit of fullback playing centre, but back to 90 on the weekend, which is what we like to see. Can hopefully jag a try on the weekend as well against the reserve grade Panthers. Onto the Warriors with the Eels. Warriors, no changes for them. RTS, so big ton on the weekend. He's got the Eels and Sea Eagles to finish, which on paper is pretty good, but then you've got the Eels who are in some decent form recently, and the Sea Eagles who can still make the finals. So it's an okay matchup to any okay schedule to finish the season, but probably not the best.
It's at 4 points as well, which is, it's always hard to win games at 4 points, and you'd think there'd have to be some slight chance that, given the trip over from New Zealand, they could rest him. He's an older veteran these days, RTS, and he's had a long season, a few injuries, and they probably want to save him for the finals to be fresh. So there would have to be some chance that he gets rested next week.
At the Eels, so no changes there. It's the same 17. Lomax, he's got 3 40s in his last 4 weeks. Of course, I will point out that the other score in there was 120 odd. But he is a bit of a worry. He was in doubt last week heading in due to illness. Got huge strapping on his hand as well, which seems to be affecting his catching ability under the high ball. So I'm a bit worried, but you've got bigger problems to deal with this week.
Yeah, there's not much we can really do with Lomax, Kenny. Like he could be a sit versus start option, but not this late in the year when we're lower numbers. So you're just going to have to ride it out.
So at the Storm, they've got the 5 players rested. That doesn't include Harry Grant, who we knew was out already with suspension. Farlongo's on the bench, though, which is kind of interesting. But other than that, it's all about Harry Grant, really, at this team. Who's the best replacement for Harry Grant?
It's probably Blake Brayley. He's been the best dummy half all year. 2 nice matchups for the rest of the year. He's the captain now at the Sharks, so you've got a bit of extra responsibility. So he's an 80-minute guy. I think you've got a few pods just reading through this that at hooker that you might want to give a shout to.
So first of all, I don't own Harry Grant, and my initial trade this week was to sell Connor Watson just because he's been stinking it up the last little bit since Origin. I'll probably hold Connor Watson now, given that I've got other issues in my team. But if I was looking for a hooker, Blake Brayley is very hard to ignore. The pod guy is Jeremy Marshall-King at only 2%. He's got that great matchup that I mentioned, Dolphins v the Titans. His average over the last 5 rounds is just ridiculous. It's almost as good as Brayley's, or basically on par with Brayley's. So he's the pod option.
Yeah, you had Sam Farrell's down there, 70 average or something?
Yeah, he's killing it recently. He's playing 80 minutes as well.
When I saw that, I was like, Sam Farrell's, please. And then I was like, holy, he's actually going pretty good. And
he is.
Yeah, 80 minutes. That's been the problem with him the last few years, hasn't it? Like, obviously health and then the minutes with Chris Randall there, but now he's getting it. It could be a massive pod option.
Yeah, I still think the best pod is JMK, but Verrills definitely
I agree,
deserves a shout out in 1% of teams. There's there's just over 1,000 super coaches who own him, so he is the pod of all pods for your grand final. Onto the Roosters, so Sam Walker's out. Sandon Smith comes into the halves, so if you still own him from the start of the year, he could be a crucial extra number. The guy I want to point out, though, is Tedesco. So, very popular sell. Would you be selling James Tedesco?
It's tough. It is tough considering how good Reece Walsh is going, all these other options. I wouldn't sell him because he's got that Rabbitohs match up next week and, he's going to be really up for that. So it'd be really tough to sell Teddy knowing that's what's on the horizon. But it's a tough matchup this week, and when you've got to play Teddy and there's a lot of guys out there that are trading in Reece Walsh, it's going to be a tough watch.
Yeah, I can't sell Teddy. I kind of considered it before this carnage on Teams Day, but you can't now. I've got Dylan Edwards out, so I literally cannot do it. Connor Watson's another interesting one who is a popular sell, but probably won't be when you refresh your app if you've got SuperCoach Plus, of course. If you refresh your app and look at the most popular sells, I'd say he will have dropped a fair way down the list. On to Raiders v the West Tigers, so good matchup for the Raiders. I do like Hudson Young as a buy. If you don't own him already, I do own him now. Potential captain, maybe even a VC in this game because it's a good matchup and the Raiders are coming off the bye. I think getting on Raiders players now is good because I don't think they will get rested in the run home because the Raiders have this benefit that they had all 3 buys really late in the season. So there's no point in resting.
Yep, 100%. And you've got that Adam Doueihi option there. Like you can have him in at 5'8" or centre, so you can trade for guys like Ethan Strange if you've got Adam Doueihi in 5'8", and even Savelio Tamale, first game back.
Yeah.
That'd be a nice little pot option. No one would have him. He was killing it before he got injured as well.
Yeah, so the news on Tamale is that he's back in the team, his first game back, with Xavier Savage unfortunately out for the season, which is rough for him. But the Raiders, I think, have the best run home. Tigers this week, then the Dolphins, who are pretty leaky in the next round. So Raiders are a really good team to get on. On to the West Tigers, Adam Doueihi. He is out injured, obviously, facial fractures. He's been sent for surgery. Can't get it yet because his face is too swollen still. He really did a number on himself, got the head in the wrong spot and copped it from Taumalolo. I hope he's okay. I hope it all goes well for him. But he is a sell. The guy you could sell to is Taylor May, coming off a big ton.
Yep. You just got to feel for Adam Doueihi, though, don't you? Every time he starts to play his best footy, something crazy happens, like he does his ACL or, this facial fractures. But yeah, Taylor May's big option. He's looked awesome since he's come back. It feels like he's just bigger or just like harder to tackle. Like not in terms of stature, but yeah, he's killing it. What do you have? 100 and something on the weekend?
Yeah, 120 odd, I think, in that final game.
Yeah, he wouldn't be that highly owned.
He's not. He is 560 odd K.
Yeah.
I bought him last week in the sort of low 4s, but he did go up by well over 100K over the weekend. So
but if you're selling
he's not cheap.
Doueihi's mid 600, so cash shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah, you should easily be able to go a straight swap there. Yeah. Onto the Dragons for the Seagulls. The Dragons have got a whole bunch of guys back in Jaden Sewer, Jack DeBellin, Hame Sele, all back into that team. But Jacob Halengahu retains the starting spot. He's been pretty good recently. He's averaging basically 60 in his last 2 games. Yes, there have been big injuries during those games, but even so, Halengahu looks the goods. Unfortunately, he's probably going to be a little bit too expensive for next season, so it's going to ruin his cheapy options for next year. It's certainly a Supercoach guy to look forward to in the coming seasons.
100%.
On to the Seagulls. Tom Trbojevic, do you own him?
I sold him I've bought him and then I sold him and then I bought him and I sold him again. So I sold him to Pappenhausen a few weeks ago, just going for a bit of a pod play when and then I didn't tell anyone about this because I was very disappointed in myself for doing it, but I traded Pappenhausen for Gutherson like 2 weeks ago.
Oh dear.
Yeah. So I could have had Tom and Lehigh Hopewada, who I still own, but I'm lucky of Clint Gutherson, but I'm going to switch into Latrell Mitchell next week.
So he ended up with, what did he end up with? I think it was 180 in the end after updates. Yep. So a huge score. If you VC'd him, well done. And a definite option this week. I mean, they have to win. They're intent now. They have to win to make the finals.
They're just too inconsistent, though. And I couldn't, And
it's against the Dragons. Yeah. As I always say with the Dragons, looks like a good matchup when it's at Cogra Oval. They tend to fire up. So, yeah, it's not as good a matchup as some people seem to think. But your boy Lehigh Hopewadi is popular as well.
Yeah, it's good. I had the VC on him just going some rogue to try and catch my mate, who's about a couple hundred points ahead of me, and it actually paid off. So if that hadn't happened, I would have been in a lot of trouble because I switched the captain to Sam Walker that day.
Yeah,
so that would have been tough.
That would have been season ending.
He's a lot better Supercoach wise at wing than he is at fullback, because when he was playing at fullback and Turbo was in centre, Turbo took all the opportunities away from him attacking wise, because he'd roam and he'd always get the tip on pass out the back, get those try assists, and Lehigh was just pegged to one side. But now he's on the wing playing outside Tolu Kula, who's just absolutely killing it at the moment. It's just been huge for him.
Yep, and Tolu Kula is the next guy on the list who I 100% agree. He's just busting tackles for fun. Onto the Cows. They've got the same 17, so Drinkwater is a pretty popular sell. I don't get this now that Dylan Edwards is out, so hold Drinkwater, but they do obviously have the bye next week. This one, it's against the Broncos, which is a relatively tough opposition, but it's up in Townsville, and Drinkwater loves Townsville.
Yep. Oh, it doesn't make sense. Drinkwater turned up on the weekend. He's been one of the best. He'd probably be a top 4 Supercoach player this year, so I'd hold him. Yeah,
potential captaincy option, as is the next guy on this list, Reece Walsh.
Yep.
So we all thought that the Broncos were absolutely busted when Reynolds and Mam and Cobbo all went down within the space of a few minutes. But Reece Walsh has stepped up. He's basically running that team. He's kicking goals, not particularly well. I mean, he hit the post 3 times over the weekend. He's still banging out huge scores, even though he could have scored that try and then offloaded to Kobe Hetherington at the last minute as well.
Yeah, no, it's been really good to see, especially as an owner. Like, we know Reece, he's going to go big or he can go really low, which he has done, but it's been really, like, his only low score recently was when both his halves went down in the same game. So he obviously scored low there, but 140 last week, similar score the week before. It's been, if you didn't have him, geez, you'd be scared this week.
Look, he's 4th most popular as it currently stands. He'll be number 1 or 2 by the time that game kicks off.
He could score 20.
A lot of people would be. He could easily sell.
Yeah, like he could score 20 and it wouldn't surprise me. But he could also score 150.
We'll have to check the weather up there in Townsville as well. But definite captaincy option this week. Sharkies v the Knights. KL Eero's back. Yep.
It's been
pretty good run home. I mean, Knights this week is very good. Then the Dogs in the final round. No idea whether the Dogs are going to rest players or not, but I feel like a few guys probably need it. The other guy who's popular is Blake Brayley. Can't talk anyone out of buying Blake Brayley, particularly now that he's captain.
Yeah, it's wild the sort of Supercoach journey we've come on with Blake Brayley over the years. Like, he was always a great footy player, but just never Supercoach relevant. But just the way he's playing this year, it's so good. And geez, it's going to be hard not to have him up against that Newcastle pack, just towing him up through the middle. So you got Blake Brayley there, Nico Hines, probably the most captain player this week, you'd think. Yeah,
so Nico, obviously really he'd be popular anyway, but he scored 140 odd in his last game. Had that bye, and then a lot of people are selling Sam Walker. So at halfback, he's the obvious replacement.
Yep, I agree.
And then Ronaldo, do you like him as a pod?
I like the other winger, to be honest, just because I've always had a massive soft spot for Sione Katoa. He breaks a lot of tackles. When the Sharks are humming, it's when they're going right. And I really like Sione Katoa.
On to the Knights, it's the same 17, but they do have Marzu as 18th man. He could be crucial for a lot of people. Gagai played fullback on the weekend, but he's back to wing this week, which is a bit of an issue. Dolphins v the Titans. So I think this is the matchup to target. I've mentioned a few guys, but JMK, Fuller, Tabuai Fido, even Isaiah Katoa, who you owned earlier in the year, could go big in this match against the Titans. It's at Suncorp Stadium. We'll have to check the weather, but hopefully it's good. It could be a real, this could be 45 to 35 kind of scoreline.
Yeah, I was looking at Izzy Katoa on Saturday night after Sam Walker went down. I was just running through my mind of potential replacements before Doueihi got injured, so I had to take care of that first. But it's been I really like the Isaiah Katoa buy. I think he's an elite football player, and it's translating to his Supercoach points this year. Yeah. And if the Dolphins score a lot of points, he's going to have a massive hand in that.
Yeah, they got Cody Nikorima back into that team as well, which should take a little bit of pressure off Isaiah Katoa.
Yep.
Titans, they got the same 17. Tino Fa'asuamaleaui is just a ridiculously cheap buy this week. At $500K, with a lot of people looking to sell Kikau and Katoa,
It
just makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I can't knock it. I've had Tino all year, and very, very happy to see what he did on the weekend, and he's going to want to finish the year strongly. Just the way that things are going at the Titans, you know how Tino is. He's not going to, sort of twiddle his thumbs and play bad. He's going to really have a crack, and
Yeah, big. I think he got 99 on the weekend in his second game back from a knee injury. The one back from the knee injury was a little bit lower, as you'd probably expect. But I think they'll be looking to end the season strongly. It's a Queensland derby. It's like, I think it's a really good purchase for $500K.
Yeah, 100%. I can't diss it at all.
Right, well, big thanks to Jett. Stay tuned for tomorrow because it is Rob Sutherland's final ever, potentially, podcast. I think he's got a few things up his sleeve, and we've got a few things up our sleeve too.
It's
so we'll catch you then.